What if I told you taking a dip in freezing cold water can make you look beautiful, maybe even help you lose weight, cure your bodily aches and pains, or even treat a terminal illness? Well, does this sound puzzling to you? There's an intriguing wellness trend known as cryotherapy that is in the limelight, with movie stars taking a plunge into water at sub-zero temperatures. This trend has caught the public eye, with actors sharing videos on their social media pages. But is this therapy worth the hype that it has been creating across various vocations? Let's start with the fitness industry and how cryotherapy apparently helps with muscle recovery. We spoke to Suhail Ahmed, who is a fitness instructor and a co-founder of the Academy of Strength in Bangalore, who called it nothing but a modern version of icing.
So what I experienced was a full body cryotherapy. I was put in a chamber without my clothes. That's funny to start with. To be blasted with ice everywhere. When I say everywhere, everywhere. For the 1 or 2 experience that I have had, call it placebo or call it really something if it worked or not, I felt that the numbness that initiated led to some sort of relaxation. So I'm not sure because I was exposed to such cold temperatures and after I came out of the environment, the body felt good. Or is it really because it works? Athletes who train with me experience cryotherapy. They've not been somebody who wanted to do that on a regular basis. Not because they didn't like it or not because they didn't find the benefits for it. It's just they couldn't put a finger on and say what really worked for them.
Let me tell you that this therapy comes in various forms. In the form of ice baths, ice massages, cooling sprays. Basically, it is a procedure where a person dips their body into water which is as cold as 15 degrees of temperature and even below that. But apart from the curiosity that cryotherapy has been creating in the entertainment industry, it has also established its foothold in the medical fraternity as a holistic treatment for terminal illness. Dr. Jagandeep Singh Vild, who specialized in onco surgery as well as in joint replacement at the Paras Healthcare, spoke to SoSouth about how cryotherapy is used in treating tumors and even cancer.
I would like to say that, as an onco surgeon, I am involved, in treating these conditions, sometimes for very small kids, in case of children also and adults also. Talking about cryosterilization in bone cancer. So this is a very interesting thing. So what exactly we do in this technique is that we take out the cancerous bone out. Right, in the operation theatre or in the operation room, we have taken out the cancerous bone out.
Right.
We dip it in a chemical known as liquid nitrogen.
Okay.
So liquid nitrogen is a liquid which is at minus 196 degrees Celsius. It is that cold, but it is a liquid. It's not ice.
Right.
So we dip that cancerous bone in that. We keep it dipped inside that liquid for about 20 minutes. Then we take that bone out. We thaw it. Like we thaw things once we take it out of a freezer.
Right.
So same way we keep it thawed for another 15 minutes. And then we dip it in normal water or distilled water, sterilized distilled water.
Right.
And then we reimplant the same bone back in the patient. So what it does 2 things basically. One is that it has killed all the cancer cells which were there in the cancerous bone.
Absolutely.
Right. And obviously, we have created a defect in the patient's body. We have taken out a massive chunk of the bone out, which was harboring those cancer cells or which was harboring that cancer. We have to refill the defect back. We can't leave it empty because, if it is in the thigh bone, for example, or in the leg bone, how will the patient walk?
Absolutely.
If, 10-15 centimeters of his bone is not there.
Right.
So, this is a very interesting technique and we have been using it for the past almost now, I guess, 5 to 6 years. This was first propagated by the Japanese surgeons in Japan.
Yes.
The group was called Tsuchiya et al. So Dr. Tsuchiya was the pioneer in this technique. Basically, what promoted using this technique was that, earlier we were using radiation. Everybody must have heard about radiation therapy. Earlier, what was being done was that, once we have taken out the bone out, we were sending it to the radiation facility. There, the radiation oncologist was applying radiation to that area for about half an hour.
Okay.
And then, transporting the bone back to the operation theatre, and there the surgeon will reimplant it back again.
Absolutely.
But what we saw was that, the bone is going out from the operation theatre, going to the radiation facility, then coming back again. There are chances of infection in that whole process. One. Second is, having a radiation facility may not be possible for every cancer center of every hospital. It is very expensive.
Okay.
So liquid nitrogen, they basically in Japan, they are very, they try to invent new techniques, invent new methods which are more cost effective.
Right.
So that is basically what, gave rise to this particular technique.
Right.
And that instead of sterilizing it with radiation, we can sterilize the same cancer bone with extremely low temperature also with liquid nitrogen. Right, and this is a very easily available product. It is like when I also do my surgeries for cancer patients, I've been using it and used it more than 16, 17 patients, most of them kids, most of them children from far off places with very good results. So this liquid nitrogen is easily available in industrial area. It's an industrial byproduct.
Okay.
And it is very cheap. Like if you have to use 20 liters of liquid nitrogen, 1 liter hardly costs about 110 rupees, 100 rupees is what the cost of 1 liter of liquid nitrogen is.
Right.
So there is more and more interest which is being generated in this particular technique, because not only it is cost effective, we have also seen that the results as far as our local recurrence free survival. By that what I mean is that will the patient have any chance of recurring the same cancer at that same place? That has also reduced significantly by using this technique.
But with B-Town celebs sharing their chilling experiences of indulging in this therapy, Suhail says that this is why it's influencing people to try it.
For the few people who've tried it, one reason they tried it because of the curiosity factor. And also they were bombarded with a lot of information before we went and experienced it. So their experience was based out of an influence thought. So whatever they felt, in my understanding, is placebo. Because the second or the third experience for them wasn't the same. And additional factors to this is it is expensive, right? It is not for everyday people also. And for everyday people, their bodies are not pushed to the point where they need a recovery like this, right? Simply dipping yourself under ice water is also similar benefits. But that being said, things plattered and presented to you in a new way is always exciting. So I feel like cryo is one of those old school principles presented to you in the modern ways. Apart from that, yes, people with dead skin, I heard that they found a few benefits. But there again, there are other ways to do it as well. Would you really need to spend so much money and expose yourself to that kind of cold?
An MNC employee by the name Vijaya felt otherwise. She highly recommended this treatment of cryotherapy to deal with various skin issues and said that it was cost effective.
I have done the therapy actually twice.
Okay.
So once I had a wart on my toe, so that was removed. It was a big one, so that took 2 or 3 sittings for me. So what happens, Sarah, and there was recently, I think last 2 months ago, there was a wart here and here. So when I went to the doctor, he said, it's wart. So I said, what do we do now? He said, we'll do cryotherapy and then it should be fine. So what happens in cryotherapy, which I saw what he did is, it's like a spray which they have, okay, if you have seen the foam spray or something. It's like a spray, they spray it on the infected area. Basically, it's a bacterial infection is what they said to me.
Okay.
So they just spray it and they give you an ointment which you have to just put it across.
Okay.
And it just a spray. So when they spray, it's like ice effect. They just spray it, it just goes and it just helps you to, it stays a little burning tingent effect later for some time and it just vanishes after some time, so you'll not feel the pain. Nothing happens. My brother also, because to the same doctor, he had little skin tags and all, so I took him there, so that was also, it was fun.
But with all the hype that this wellness trend has been creating in India, cryotherapy is yet to touch base in terms of being popularly used. Dr. Jagandeep Singh Virk mentions that the people who want to opt for it do have to take in certain precautionary measures, and also points out who must not try it.
If we are, talking about ice baths or, using ice therapy for regular things, then one has to be very careful that, it can't be very frequent. Right. It's fine if you do it occasionally, but doing it too frequently, and if your body is not suited for that, it may have serious consequences to the extent that you might have frostbite, your area of some body may become insensate, and we might have to amputate that part. We have to take off that part, because ultimately if it is dead, it will develop gangrene, it will develop infection, and we have seen such cases.
Now, while this entire wellness trend of cryotherapy has earned both favorable and unfavorable opinions, in the words of Suhail, it is yet to stand the test of time in order to prove its feasibility.
Every new concept needs a little time. It needs to be tried, tested. And if it stands the test of time, then I feel like thumbs up on it. This, according to me, has not stood the test of time yet. Let's see what time says.